Live from AZTV's Phoenix location in the London Center, it's the Pat McMahon Show.
Listen, music lovers, you got to stick around because the composer of Everlasting Love and so many hits, and the guy was a backup singer with Elvis and well, I'll let him tell his own story because it is diverse and widespread. The only thing that he never did is to perform with Johnny Major and the Minors, and that's one of the reasons why it is that we do have Steve Bellamy here to do several of your hits.
You think? I forgot my instrument.
Have you prepared? Didn't the producer tell you about that?
Yeah.
Johnny Major and the Minors, where was that?
That was a band I started, was it 20 years ago in the Midwest. We played all around the Midwest and in the southern part of the United States.
That's a fun part of one's life, if you get a chance to play music and see the ladies in front of the stage and all of those adventurous things, as long as you don't have to make a living out of it, because our next guest has done so successfully. But you, meanwhile, are a guy who made a living and continues to make a living out of, well, now the latest venture is one that I really don't understand. If I'm watching ESPN, I know that somewhere along the line, the score that I want, the film clips that I want of my favorite sport, whatever that happens to be during the season, is going to come up. With the Golf Channel, I get sweeping vistas of all of these gorgeous places. But the Tennis Channel, I mean, isn't that a little limited back and forth? It's like Pong.
Well, I mean, we are reinventing the way we're showing the sport, but in terms of the content, we have 44 of the top 50 events in the world, you know, coming from beautiful destinations from all over the world. You know, we had the last 2 weekends we've had 3 finals from 3 different continents. You know, so it's spectacular content.
The Tennis Channel is on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week?
Correct.
It just seems like an enormous amount of time to fill with one relatively enclosed game.
If I had 3 channels, I could fill them all up and make them compelling. You know, it is an amazing sport. It is a world unto itself. It's the most international sport there is. The personalities are incredible. They're rock stars. They travel in private jets with entourages. And what is happening on the tennis court today is beyond compare. I mean,
who's the biggest star in the world right now?
Biggest star in the tennis world or in the world?
Well, no, we have the biggest star in the world coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
But what I'm saying is that when you're talking about the ever-changing tapestry of tennis, last week's star may not necessarily be this week's.
Very true. Ironically, last year's star, Andre Agassi, is probably still this year's star. But in tennis right now, you have Andy Roddick, Venus and Serena are huge stars. Anna Kournikova doesn't even really play tennis anymore, and she's, you know, in every Us magazine you could ever pick up.
When you look like that, you don't really particularly have to be a superstar on the court.
Yeah, and Andre Agassi, Roger Federer, in my opinion, is one of the most talented athletes of all time.
What's the format of the channel, though? I mean, is it just tennis match after tennis match after tennis match?
No.
Or do you go to the cities and do you allow us to travel with the performers?
Without a doubt. I mean, we have a ton of personality programming. We have a lot of instructional programming, destination travel. It's similar to MTV, or the way MTV used to be. You know, they had a lot of music videos, a lot of personality stuff, contests, news. That's the way the Tennis Channel is.
And you now have your own tournament.
And we now have our own tournament.
Going on, when, where? Give us the scoop right now, because I'm going to give away a couple of tickets in just a moment.
Well, it is at the Fairmont Princess in Scottsdale. It started on Monday of this week and finishes up on Sunday. But typically, this tournament is right in the center of the spring swing of American tennis. It comes right before the Indian Wells Pacific Life Open and the NASDAQ 100 in Miami, which are the 5th and 6th biggest tournaments in the world.
Do you play?
I've played my whole life. I'm married to a pro tennis player. I've been a coach my whole life. You know, I'm certainly an evangelist and a salesman for the sport.
The difference in the appeal of men's tennis and women's tennis. Talk about that.
They are widely different dynamics. Men are just crunching aces, and you know, they've got more of a first strike offense kind of a demeanor going on the court right now. Women tend to keep the ball and play longer, and you'll have, you know, they set the points up a little longer. In both disciplines, the artistry that's happening now on the court is stupendous. They're just different.
Why did, and I asked this on a period of time when we did the unthinkable, and that is we had to actually worry about weather here in the Valley. Apparently your worries are over because it looks like you're going to be able to get all of the matches in. But why is it that indoor professional tennis has not been more successful than it has?
Well, you know, I wouldn't say that it has been more successful. I mean, they sold out the semis and the finals in San Jose last week indoors. There's a lot of indoor tournaments around the world. Tennis is great in the Sun Belt. It's harder to have multiple courts indoors. So the tennis tournaments that have worked really well are the ones with a lot of courts that are more like tennis woodstocks, where you got a lot of things going on. Tennis indoors is typically, you know, like last weekend in San Jose, it's in an arena. You know, it's one court, and that's less desirable, but it still works.
Steve Bellamy, he's the founder and the president, CEO, Grand Poobah of the Tennis Channel and the Tennis Channel Open, which is going on right now at the Princess Resort, and you get a chance to go. In fact, 4 of you will get a chance to go because I'm giving away to the first 2 callers at this number here. This is the McMahon tennis number. All you have to do is to call in and make sure that you're going to go to the tennis match and get a chance perhaps to see one of your favorites. So the first 2 callers will have an opportunity to go to the Tennis Open, the Tennis Channel Open. Some of the personalities that are involved in this particular tournament?
Left in the draw still, you have James Blake, who's one of the most compelling figures in sports. He's an African-American player who grew up in Harlem and went to Harvard. Spectacular guy. You've got Vince Spadea, who's one of the most charismatic guys on tour. And then you got the Bryan brothers, who are twins, who are...
What personalities they are?
They are spectacular people. They're very good buddies of mine, and they're great.
Hey, listen, don't wait until next tournament, next Tennis Channel Open to come see us, because you're always welcome here, Steve Bellamy, and you will be welcome at the tournament because my erstwhile assistant and producer, Laura, has said that Trent Coe and Matt Reagan will be courtside this weekend because you were watching the Pat McMahon Show on AZTV. Coming up, a guy who has been in every facet of the music business and never once asked to produce Johnny Major and the Miners. But he's done everybody else. Back in a moment.
We once knew